Hello, beautiful humans. I'm here to talk to you about my favorite topic, earth magic. In particular, I'm talking about co-creating with the void. So how do we bring the quantum reality, quantum manifestation, and instant upgrades into this earth plane where things seem to move so slowly, like seeds that you plant and you have to wait for them to grow. So this is how it works. The void is like the soil that you plant your seed in. And so co-creating with the void is like fertilizing your soil. So how do we create a relationship with this fertile void, this infinite creative forces of reality, so that we can more quickly, more deliberately upgrade our lives and manifest what we want? What kind of seeds are you planting? Now, earth magic, if you just look at how planting seeds works, so whether you've had a garden or not, planting seeds is so magical. So what I want to bring your attention to is what kind of emotional and non-food related seeds are you planting, and how do you make sure that they grow, and how do you monitor that and track that and just do that intentionally? Because basically we are always casting spells. Everything you say is a spell. Everything that you think is a pattern that is creating the biological ecology of the soil, of the fertile void that you're planting your seed in. So I always have different chapters of my spiritual process, and recently I've really been strengthening my relationship with the void. And as I do this, I feel really powerful, because it's basically like being able to reach into all that is and pull back whatever you want. So basically, your body, mind, spirit, DNA are running all these programs and running all these patterns based off of your ancestors, societal programming, trauma in this lifetime, adaptations, the climate that you're in, and all that stuff. So you're basically just like a human machine, and you're running all these programs. And so how do we make quantum leaps? To make quantum leaps, we're still abiding by these earth rules, but we need to understand where we're drawing from. So the best way to rapidly change your patterns, your DNA, your karma, your looping that you're doing, is to cultivate a relationship with the void. So what does this look like? This looks like allowing yourself to become nobody. And what does that mean? Like right now you have all these identities. Like if I wanted to have an identity, I'm a girl, I'm pretty, I'm a dancer, I'm Californian, I'm a musician, blah, 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 right? I have to be willing, if I want to upgrade myself with whatever seed I'm planting, I have to be willing to let go of all of these identities, right? All of them. I am nothing. I am nothing. And even things that make me mad, like, ooh, that thing was so messed up, traumas or resentments that I'm holding, I have to be willing to suspend my identity enough that I can temporarily detach from everything, and this gives me access to bringing in more. Because as it is, when I'm in my conscious waking state, I'm just running patterns, so I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over, or I only have access to the same amounts of thoughts, the same ingredients, the same people, the same behavior. So if I want to do something vastly different than what I'm doing now, I have to kind of put my whole vibe into a blank state. So how do I do this? for like 2 months straight, I was literally chanting, no soy nada, no soy nada, no soy nada. Like, I am nothing, I am nothing. Or I'm not anything, I'm not anything. Basically just allowing yourself to. And then anytime you have a thought that comes up like, but this is so important, or I love this, or I hate this, or it should have been like that, or I'm going to do this, even any striving, even any thought towards your goal, I have to be willing to detach from that. So basically, co-creating with the void is like this. You have an intention, a seed, like a seed to manifest a piece of land, or a seed to make more money, or a seed to have your body look a certain way, a seed to change a certain personality trait. Then what you have to do is you have to put the seed into the void. So you set your intention, and then you go into the void, and you have to become nobody. And then it does take practice being in the void. But then what you can do is you can kind of go back and forth. So you can do 5 minutes of detaching from everything. I call it cultivated dissociation, where some people, as a defense mechanism, go through their whole lives dissociated and they're kind of not grounded. And that, if it's extreme, that's not good. But in this case, we're doing it consciously, and so it is good. You're temporarily putting a pause on who you are in order to identify with something greater, in order to identify directly with Source itself. So rather than seeing yourself as the good guy and them as the bad guy, you kind of merge with everything. That is what it is, co-creating with the void. Because when you're co-creating with the void, you can literally, here's the thing, when you pray for something specific, your mind is so limited that if you were to try to like plan it out, the whole thing, and to ask God or Source for exactly what you want and like nitpick it, you're going to give yourself a worse result than what you could do if you were just to kind of put in the general request and then let God orchestrate the synchronicities. Because what is this God? God is the infinite creative forces of reality. God is everything. God is the fertile void. God is all-encompassing reality, okay? So God is the benevolent orchestrator of synchronicities. So think about a series of events that's happened to you in your life that you could have never thought of or never planned ahead of time, but just how magical it turned out. So that's the force of the void that you're working with. So you basically just put the request in, like, God, I want to restore to health. And then you have to you have to detach from who you think you are so that you can connect with the greater forces of reality that have access to everything. Because if you're still attached to your identity, or being a good person or being a bad person, or feeling like those are the good people or bad people, or feeling like even that you're a man or a woman or anything about your personality, you're limiting yourself and you're limiting God's ability to paint, to answer your prayer. So there's two things. Like, one is this laser sharp focus on what you want. And this is all the positive affirmations. This is prayer. This is intentions. So this is the seed, right? But it's just as important to cultivate your relationship with the void so that God can actually allow it to grow. And what that means is cultivating the ability to detach from who you think you are. Cultivate dissociation, which is kind of what Buddha was talking about. So, so you can work on these separately, like just practice being in a state of meditation. You can set your timer for like 5 minutes and 5 minutes and just keep resetting it for 5 minutes. sometimes when I'm doing really intense or really focused meditations, I'll set my timer so that I can keep getting myself back on track every 5 minutes. Like even if I drift away, I'll like have a timer go off and then I have to reset it and I remind myself what I'm doing. So like I said, I was working really hard on this for like 2 months, cultivating my relationship with the void. So the seed part comes really naturally for me. And this is also what's been promoted in the media and like the new age coach world, you know, the manifestation and stuff. We've all been kind of learning this. This has been coming into the mainstream, into the collective consciousness for a couple decades now or more. So this is the seed of focus of, you know, you're focused on what you want, laser sharp focus. Okay, so that's easy, and so that's important to cultivate. And likely you've already been cultivating that for a while. Okay, and that also includes like removing negative thoughts and stuff like that and keeping your eye on the goal. Okay, so this side is more like this. You go into meditation, say you set your timer for 5 minutes, and then obviously like a thought will float by like, I really need to say that your intention is to make more money, right? And so then a thought comes by, and say it's even related to that, right? So the seed is to make more money, and the thought that comes by is like, I should organize my email list, or I should call back that client, right? In the moment that you're cultivating the void, you're so surrendered to God, and you're so going into the dark that you have to be willing to even surrender that idea. So in the void, you have to let that go. So here you are. You did the 5 minutes of positive affirmation style, like focusing on the mantra of this, like feeling it, visualizing it. Now you're going into the void. So you're in the void, you start meditating, here comes a thought. You should call that person back. You have to release. Then you just say, haha, like I'm not taking myself so seriously. Then you get this other thought. Oh, this is never going to work. Haha, I'm not taking myself so seriously. You just let it go. Then here comes another thought. You should really sign up for that course. Let it go. Then something else. Oh, that guy is so handsome. Let it go. Whatever the thoughts are, let go of everything. Like, oh, that person made me mad, or oh, if the system wasn't this way, or oh, if I would have done this 20 years ago, or whatever it is. You have to be willing to just, for those 5 minutes, not take yourself so seriously and let go of everything. And this will allow God to deliver unexpected blessings to you. Because whatever it is that you're praying for, the seed, it's going to come to you in a way that you haven't even imagined. Because God, the great fertile void, is much, much, much bigger and way smarter than we are, and has access to all the resources of the universe, the whole entire universe. So the way to open yourself to having access to that is to basically, you can think about it like this, like temporarily unplug yourself from everything that is currently making your life run, or anything that is like your normal, or anything. Just let it all go. And from there, God can just randomly bring you these new connections that you could have never even fathomed. And so that's what it's like to co-create with the void. So also it can be good to, you can work on just co-creating with the void, which is kind of like adding compost into your soil. Like, it's good to go back and forth between the seed and the soil and cultivate both, like, you know, remember your positive thinking and stuff like that. But also, just depending on where you are and like which ones of these you've cultivated more, you've likely cultivated the seed more because it's just more common and more talked about. But this one, if you want to just like go hard, you can just work on nourishing the soil and nourishing your connection with source, which it just would be like not even putting a seed in, and just totally surrendering to God and just unplugging, not taking yourself seriously, letting everything go. And once your connection with that great fertile void gets really close, there are neural pathways that you're creating. So once you get really good at this, you'll be able to just play with reality like that. You'll be able to just drop a seed in and have this graceful surrender to God while not taking yourself so seriously and being really open and receptive to unexpected blessings from the universe. And yeah, so it's important that you cultivate the pathways and practice feeling what it feels like to surrender to God and to forget who you think you are in order to become something greater. Because we're all really just running patterns, but how do we break out of that? How do we go beyond to something bigger? And we have the capability and we have the technology, and it's reflected to us and demonstrated to us in nature. And so if you see how magic plants are and what they do, just think of what you could do with your thoughts. Just think of what you could do with your prayers, with your meditations, with your intentions. So if you want help through this process, you can set up an appointment with me at lovelikeanocean.com. I specialize in earth magic. I specialize in maximizing your human potential and creating miracles, going beyond what is considered possible on this earth. And I study this stuff day in and day out. I am a certified Sufi chaplain. I have a master's degree in psychology. I study Hinduism. I love Tibetan Buddhism. That's kind of my home base. Buddhism is my home base, but I have deep respect for Hinduism, Sufism. I have a Christian background. Jesus is my teacher. Jesus is a master. I work with plant medicine, ayahuasca. I worked a lot with LSD for a period of time. It was very helpful for me. And mushrooms are a great teacher as well. So that's where I come from. And I am on this planet now to serve you, to help us move into the new paradigm, a more beautiful, peaceful, harmonious earth where humans remember their power, because you are a powerful creator. And you are creating heaven on earth, and you can reach your maximum potential in this lifetime. And I'm just here to reflect that to you. I'm here to remind you of your power and to just help you connect those dots so that you can just shine in your own way. So thanks for tuning in. Much love. Come visit in Mexico. Also, I'm going to be in California for a couple weeks in October, so reach out. I'll be in the Nevada City area mostly. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Ciao.